Yeah, I was so impressed from your speech. Now I want to welcome Anthony Hedly. He has, I'm very grateful that you came here, that you had a break from your sabbatical and you're with us. Please.
Thank you very much, Hans. I don't know if you can see me over this, but and thank you for inviting us to contribute to this discussion on risk communication and air quality management. There we are. That's me. Understanding connections among visibility, pollutants and health costs in pursuit of accountability and environmental justice. This title is targeted at our government. Hong Kong is an enormously successful region in many ways, but its current air quality epitomizes the environmental health threats of the burgeoning economies of many parts of East Asia. In Hong Kong, we have a very high level of social, economic, and technological development, and a GDP per capita probably higher than most nations represented in this conference. It is also a major tourist destination, but neither the detriment to health of its children, nor of its workforce, nor the degradation of its land and seascapes has driven political will to act on pollution abatement with what we might consider to be the urgency and effectiveness needed, commensurate with the size and seriousness of the problem. These dense plots of PM10 and NO2 between 2003 and 2008, which are mapped onto the WHO guidelines, you can see annual and 24-hour guidelines, the horizontal lines, show just how far we are at the present time from sustainable pollution control. And even the warm season nadir of our annual pollution pattern does not provide safe, clean air. Of course, we must acknowledge that the whole of the South China region, and the Pearl River Delta in particular, is blanketed with smog, as shown by these deteriorating satellite images of surface extinction coefficients. 2004, incidentally, was a particularly bad year, but the general trend is upward. And the government refuses to acknowledge that mainly local pollutant species are dominant in Hong Kong for 194 days of the year, arising from traffic, power generation, and marine emissions. For the general public, of course, the most salient indicator of the mainly silent injury to health is the loss of visibility, which is represented in this exponential curve of very low visibility days spanning more than 35 years. It is, in effect, for Hong Kong, an epidemic curve for cardiopulmonary disease, which we've carefully documented over decades, but failed to intervene, except on rare occasions. Of course, the media plays an important role in risk communication, but headlines like these, which are triggered by the very highest pollution days, have a short half-life. And they're countered by official government proclamations, such as, despite high pollution readings, air is getting cleaner, the government claims. Despite the illogicality of some of their statements, they simply serve to confuse the public and generally inhibit legislative action. And all these pronouncements ignore the fact that it is the average ambient levels which do the most harm on a daily basis. it gets worse, because Hong Kong's chief executive, the Honourable Donald Chiang, appears to be very badly advised. He's emphatically stated that, quote, "Our loss of visibility in Hong Kong is not due to pollution." Or on another occasion, he infamously declared that our high life expectancy shows that our environment is healthy. These naive and misleading statements underline our need for better risk communication. In response, we demonstrated, as shown in these curves, these concentration response curves of visibility, indicated here on the horizontal axis by visibility in kilometres and on the vertical axis by the risk of daily mortality, we demonstrated a robust linear relationship between daily visibility and daily mortality, principally from cardiopulmonary disease. You can, in fact, look out of the window in Hong Kong and guesstimate on any one day how many people are being pushed into clinics, beds, and coffins. To provide the general public with a better programme to raise the profile of visibility and the loss of Hong Kong's vibrant colours as an iconic symbol of damage to health and the economy, we engaged professional photographer to take a series of photographs independently on clearer and hazy days, plotted the hourly pollutant levels of 4 criteria pollutants, and as you would expect, demonstrated pretty clear separation between the so-called hazy days and the clear days. Now, in an average year, only about 10% of Hong Kong days correspond to the air quality of better visibility days in our photographic sample. We use the risk ratios from our time series analyses, so short-term, not cohort outputs, to estimate the avoidable morbidity and mortality attributable to possible air quality improvement from Hong Kong's average level down to the pollutant levels of the better visibility days, or even good visibility. We call good visibility the best of those better days on which the pollutant levels were consistent, more or less, with WHO guidelines. And so in our population of 7 million, we estimated that such an improvement would amount to an annual reduction of almost 7 million doctor visits for respiratory disease alone at the primary care level, between 60 and 80,000 hospital bed days, up to 1,600 deaths annually, and the external costs, direct and indirect costs, including lost productivity, amount to about 2 billion Hong Kong dollars. That's about 250 million US. And population willingness to pay to avoid a day's illness, a hospital admission for a serious disease or a premature death, adds another approximately 18 billion to this figure, over 2 billion US a year in intangible costs.